I did have a very interesting dream the other night, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I meant to ask you about that.
You remember the pool table used to be there in the living room,
I do.
and there was like representations of like, I don't know, like Lucky or Pooh or
Rudy.
like people like that. There was like representations of those people there. The pool table, and we were like really close, and it was like a ball of energy. It was like we were connected. And then I got up and like everybody was there, but you looked outside and it was like lightning, but it was like plasma lightning on the sky, and there was like something big going on. Like in the kitchen, there was like on the table a smushed pack of cigarettes, and they were like light cigarettes, and it was in this one spot and it had all these flowers around it, but they were like, you know how funeral flowers smell?
Yeah.
And so like everybody left and I watched everybody left, but if you walked around the house, it was like, wasn't three-dimensional, because sometimes when you have dreams, everything looks like it looks. Mm-hmm. But it was almost like it was a clue board. Like it was a two-dimensional clue board with like there was a different layer somewhere, but the house was in the clue board. It was weird.
Well, most dreams are kind of weird.
Well, see, I don't remember a lot of my dreams.
Well, I don't think, probably, as a rule, most people don't.
Right.
I mean, I know when I first wake up in the mornings, or if I have a dream that wakes me up at night, I always try to stay awake long enough to run through my mind what that dream was, because I found out in my personal experience that dreams tell me so much about myself. And also, I've had so many dreams that they eventually will actually happen in ways that I didn't associate with that dream. But then after the event happens to me, I look back, I remember this dream. That's what that dream was trying to tell me. And I really think I've been interested in dreams since I was a young man. But I think that most of our dreams is just our subconscious mind's way of kind of getting rid of the garbage. You know? That's why they're so interested. It takes bits and pieces of things that's happened to you years and years ago, and then puts them all together into a little movie, which is really neat. But I don't think most dreams actually have a deep inner meaning, but a lot of them do. And even at that, I wake up in the middle of the night with a dream that I know is something different, and I try to remember everything about the dream. But unless I get up and write it down, even when I wake up the next morning, because I've went over it in my mind, I can remember bits and pieces of it. But I have trouble putting it all back together. And then as the day goes along, a lot of times it'll come back to me. Dreams are very powerful stuff. That's why I look at this incarnation as a human being as like a dream to me, because I really feel like that when we are asleep and we're dreaming, that we're actually closer to realizing who we really are than we are when we're awake. I use that term, awake. And every dream that sticks with you, like this one you had, there's probably a lot of things that it may be referring to that'll come to you later.
I have a couple of dreams that I can still pretty vividly see them from my childhood.
Right. And
I think that those were definitely being on a different plane.
Probably so, yeah.
And then in my teenage years, like when you and I, after I'd met you, then I do have a vague memory of some flying dreams, because you had introduced me to Astral Projection.
Right.
But I don't have any flying dreams. I don't remember my dreams very much anymore, and I maybe once, twice a year I'll have one that'll stick out. Yeah. But then again, I don't focus on getting up and trying to write down the dream either. Right. And I know that if I work on that...
From personal experience, I know back in the years between 1990, when I was in pretty bad health, and I had that drug overdose, spent, a couple of weeks in the hospital, and I was trying to get over that. From there until 1995, while I was kind of reinventing myself, and I knew that I'd let my health get bad, and I was down to skin and bones. I knew I had to make some changes, and to help me do that, I got back more into my spirituality again, and part of the big process was my dreams. So during that 4-year period, I made it a habit of any time I'd wake up from a dream, I would make myself come awake enough that I turn the light on and write it in a journal. And then in the mornings, if I woke up and the dreams started coming to me, I'd write them down. Keeping that dream journal, and I didn't do it every night, because there were some nights I'd have a dream and I'd wake up, and before I could actually make myself roused up enough to write it down, I'd go back to sleep. So it wasn't a every night thing, but pretty much it was constant. And by doing that, I learned a lot about myself. So I'm a firm believer in dreams being a tool that we can use. And what interests me more about dreams, other than those that you look at that helps you look within yourself again to kind of shape the person you want to be, other than that, the dreams that kind of keep you centered on what's important. And there's so much truth to dreams, but I'm also very intrigued by the dreams that are prophetic, because the subconscious mind is such a unique thing, the way it works. I mean, you just think about it. There's no way your little brain, what does it weigh, 3 pounds? It's no bigger than, a ball or something, but how does it manage to keep all those memories from the time you come into a human being form? How does it keep them in there? I don't know, but for some reason, in my experience anyway, I found out that a lot of the dreams will be prophetic, but they don't just come out. I don't recall ever having one particular dream where when I woke up or wrote it down or thought about it and think, oh wow, that means something's going to happen, and then it happened exactly like that. I've never had that experience that I can recall, but I have had a lot of dreams that later on, when something happens in my life, I look back and as I'm trying to figure it out, I'll remember a dream from the past, and I think, man, if I'd have just interpreted that dream at the time, I would have knew this was going to happen. To me, that's how it works, and I don't know how. I think it's just an innate. That's being spiritual beings. That's just, like I say, another tool that we can use if you learn how to do it right. But all dreams, I don't think, have a deep meaning. I think a lot of it's just your subconscious mind, just with all the memories in there together, and it just, while you're sleeping, your ego out of the way, and it just puts all these into a little movie. But the dreams that mean so much to me, and I've been fortunate because I have studied dreams, and I'm so interested in them that I don't take them for granted. As a matter of fact, when I wake up in the mornings, if I have no recollection of my dream, I get aggravated with myself. But I've also found out that usually, as long as I'm open to wanting to remember them, they will come back to me in bits. I may not remember the whole dream entirely, but most of it will come back to me. But the dreams of flying, which I think is a form of when our actual being, our spirit, is free of the body and free of the ego self and the conscious mind, that is the most exhilarating experience, I guess, that I can ever have had. And I still have those dreams, not as often as I'd like, but fairly often. And I've seen things, and of course, most human beings say, well, you're just having a dream, Ron. Yeah. Well, yeah, I am. I'm living a dream. I know that. But still, there's more to it than that, because I've seen things during those out-of-body experiences that I couldn't sit here and tell you what they were, because I don't have the words to explain it to you. But I know how it touches me. So that's why, anybody that's I'm talking with and they're talking about having troubles in their life or whatever, I say, you remember your dreams? Or why don't you start a dream journal? Just a suggestion if you want to, because your dreams will tell you so much. But the dreams of flying, which I think, like I said, is just your spirit leaving your body and being free. Those are awesome. And even intriguing too is the lucid dreams. Now, I've been able, again, I'm fortunate, because the lucid dreams were so thrilling and so exciting for me that I delved into that to see what I could do to maybe make it happen more. And I actually found some books on lucid dreaming which helped me. And if anybody would you want to try to induce lucid dreaming, the step that I used, and I got this out of a book, I remember the book, who wrote it, How to Induce Lucid Dreams in 30 Days or something like that. But I tried this as an experiment, and it worked. As a matter of fact, it worked almost immediately. And the thing that you do is, like, you set aside a day, and you think, okay, when you go to bed that night, you say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to focus the biggest part of my energy on lucid dreaming, because that's what I'm trying to do. So when you get up in the morning and you start your day off, well, the first thing you do is just like every time the thought comes to you, and because you're focused on it, it comes to you pretty often, you just stop what you're doing and you look around and say, am I dreaming or is this real? And also it said, like, if you go out for a walk, while you're walking along, stop, ask, am I dreaming or is this real? Or look down at your feet and imagine, instead of your tennis shoes or boots or whatever you're wearing, imagine you're wearing a pair of house shoes, bunny, with the big bunny on them, or something wild, and put that picture in your mind. And what that does, it stimulates the subconscious mind. So when you go to sleep that night, and it may not be the same night, or it may be a week later, it may not ever happen, or it probably happened, you may not remember it, but because you've saturated your subconscious mind with, am I dreaming or is this real? And you put all these pictures in your mind that will help you if you do begin lucid dreaming, and you see this, like the shoes I'm talking about, and you go to bed that night and you're sleeping, and all of a sudden you're dreaming, and it's still not a lucid dream yet, but you're walking along and you look down at your shoes and you see the bunny rabbits. Then that triggers the subconscious, hey, this is a lucid dream. And once you figure that you're in a lucid dream, it gets a little tricky there too, because the first thing after reading what you can do with lucid dreaming is you can actually manipulate your dream, right? Mm-hmm. You can go anywhere, do anything you want to do with anybody in your dream. So the biggest temptation for me personally was, when I started having lucid dreams on a semi-regular basis maybe, was as soon as I'd realize, hey, all right, I'm having a lucid dream, the first thing I wanted to do was start manipulating it. And almost immediately that would take me back into the dream state, and I'd lose the lucid part of it. So I finally learned, even though I wanted to go ahead and start manipulating my dreams, I thought, okay, baby steps as you use, okay, when you realize you're having a lucid dream, instead of, oh boy, now I can start doing this and doing that, don't do anything, just observe, look at everything around. So that's what I started doing with them. And when I'd have one, I would see all these different people in my dreams. People, sometimes, more times than not in my lucid dreaming, the people I see in my dream are not people that I recognize from my day-to-day experience. It'd be people, different shapes, different sizes, just like if you're walking down the street in New York City, you see all these different people, different colors, hairdos, dressing, and that's what they were in my dream. So I just look, observe, and not try to do anything. And then later on, they started lasting longer, instead of just going right back in the sleep space.